Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to That's a Shoot. On the other side of chill, where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. I hope you guys have missed me. Obviously, I've been going a couple weeks doing the whole um, thing with the newest video game, NCAA College Football 25. It is absolutely fun video game. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. No, 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think there's some things to be played with, some updates they can do, but still I think it's a fun video game. And for the first video game, college football game to come out in 11 years, the first one I've played in a lot longer. This is absolutely fun thing, and I've been doing that right now. And we have Madden 25 coming out very soon as well, so I'll be doing that. Probably means that once again, after next week's episode, That's a Shoot, I'll probably take 2 weeks off of doing it because I'll be playing the game, and then I will come back on Friday, August 30th, for the predictions episode of Bash to Berlin, and then hopefully every week, every Friday for the rest of the year, other than the Thanksgiving week, um, and a couple of weeks in December, obviously to end the year. But hopefully you'll get that's weekly episodes of That's a Shoot. So be on the lookout for that. Also, if you are a big football fan, it is August, which means that it is time to do like predictions and everything like that. I will be having videos and podcast versions of my thoughts of on anything like that. I will be doing like the top 10 quarterbacks, the top 10 running backs, the top 10 receiving cores, the top 10 defenses, the top 10 teams all together. Be doing the college, the NBA, the NFL predictions. As you guys normally do, I do it in a kind of different way. So all those will be double simulcast, where you'll get an audio version and a video version of both of those things. And I'm trying to figure out how and if I should do a college football one, because I've been doing the college football, you know, um, you know, preview and prediction show, for years, and since the 4 playoff teams, right? But this is a new year. We got 12 playoff teams. So do I predict the 12 playoff teams? Do I just pick the 4 division winners? How do I go about uh, doing that? Yeah, see, I've got a few weeks to think about it to see if I'm going to do one or not. Obviously, I can predict like the Heisman Trophy winners and things like that. We'll have to, we'll have to see how that goes. Um, uh, and actually, I think, to be honest, I may accompany. What I may actually do is I may accompany both the college football and NFL preview show as us all in one video. If depending on all of those things. So we'll have to wait and see. But all that is coming up in this month, August, and at the beginning of September as well. So I'll have to be on the lookout for that. Um, but we are here to predict the SummerSlam 2024 card. SummerSlam is tomorrow evening. Tomorrow evening. Today's Friday. Tomorrow evening. Make sure again after SummerSlam to come back here for the rapid reaction of SummerSlam as we break down what went down. This could be an historic SummerSlam, and not even for like the reasons of possible returns or anything like that. Just the matches. 7 matches on this card. Every match has the potential to be an absolute classic, I think, in my opinion. And I also think that every match but one, you can see both sides of who is going to win. And as we've been doing as we've been talking about doing my predictions, I've been wondering, do I go with my heart or do I go with my head? Because my heart is telling me one thing, but my head is telling me the other thing. But the only difference is this one, that my heart is also got some logic into it, and I think I'm going to break all of that down as we get to each and every match. So let's actually start with what could be the easiest match to predict, at least for me, and that is the Intercontinental Championship. So for the Intercontinental Championship, champion Sami Zayn goes one-on-one with Braun Breaker. This is the rematch of the match from Money in the Bank, and there's a lot of people talking about maybe why wouldn't you do that Money in the Bank, things like that. There's a report that came out that Triple H wants the title changes to happen at the bigger pay-per-views, at the big four pay-per-views, right? WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. You want title changes to happen there, which is totally fine and dandy. And really, I necessarily didn't have a problem with them doing this. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with me matches. I think as long as like the story that they tell makes sense, and I think this was a good one. They're telling with Sammy and Braun Breaker. So I think that's a really good one. Again, I recommend. I think this one is pretty easy. I do think Braun Breaker wins this one. Now the only question is that are we going to get a? And I think I mentioned this in the Money in the Bank thing. Are we going to get the 10-year anniversary of Brock Lesnar destroying John Cena, with Braun Breaker destroying Sami Zayn? Or are we going to get a competitive match like we got at Money in the Bank, except this time just with Braun Breaker, overcoming Sami Zayn's underdog, status? I think we can see, but I think without question, the winner of this match is and should be Braun Breaker. If it's not Braun Breaker, the story that needs to be told is a story that they better tell very quickly. So we'll wait and see. But I think this is Braun's time to win and become the Intercontinental Champion and have a long run with that championship as well. For the United States Championship, champion Logan Paul defends against LA Knight, in his hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. Now, there was a stat recently was put out on Twitter that Logan Paul has about 200 some odd days of being the champion, the longest U.S. champion in the most recent WWE history. And I think if you're talking about the entire statute of the United States Championship, he's at like the 7th longest reign, actually, going to the NWA days and WCW days. So, a very long title run for Logan Paul. Jim Cornette and his partner Brian Last have been talking about on their podcast. Is it over for LA Knight if he loses? If he doesn't win the United States Championship? And I think that's a very good point. Because I think with the Roman Reigns match at last year's Crown Jewel, the Fatal 4-Way at early this year's Royal Rumble, and some other things that has happened ever since then. Him winning against AJ Styles, but then losing the number one contenders match to AJ Styles like a week later or so. I think is a little cause for concern. He still gets massive pops. He still has a crowd eating out of his hand. So this is something that I think that what you don't want to do is you don't want to put the label on LA Knight of not being able to win the big one. I think that's something that you really don't want to do. But then there is Logan Paul, and I think to keep the championship on Logan Paul, even though he only has 2 title defenses in the number of tomorrow days that he win. You guys know me; I'm not one of those guys that feel like that. At least in this day and age, the part timers having championships really does not bother me. It does not bother me that he's not on every show. It does not bother me that he doesn't defend it as often. I'm not one of those people. So, and keeping the title on Logan Paul is could be very, very interesting, especially to see where they would go next with that. So, I think that's interesting. However, I lean a little bit more towards LA Knight because I do think that while the championship doesn't need to be on the show or anything like that, LA Knight could get that thing of not winning the big one. And what you don't want to do now is you want to create as many stars as you have because then you always have someone to step up to the next level. So that you have LA Knight right now, so that if stuff happens the way maybe I want them to happen, you have LA Knight as a legitimate contender for another U.S. championship, or even a WWE championship. So we have some good things going on there. Um, so I think, uh, and even though as of lately in this new era, in this Triple H era, just because you're in the hometown doesn't mean that you automatically lose. People have been winning in their hometowns as of late. Depending on the story, of course, you have Drew McIntyre and everything like that. But I do think this is I do think this is a situation where Logan Paul can lose in his hometown, especially since you're talking about. I don't know if Cleveland really likes Logan Paul. It'll be interesting to see how the reception he gets tonight on SmackDown, and that reception could very well be what I think maybe goes into tomorrow night's decision. To be perfectly honest with you, yes, I just said that. So I think LA Knight should win this. He should become the United States champion, and he should have a pretty long run with this championship as well. So I'm picking LA Knight to defeat Logan Paul and become the new United States champion. For the WWE Women's Championship, the champion Bayley takes on Queen Nia Jax. Again, this is another one where you can see both sides of the situation. Queen Nia Jax, she won the Queen of the Ring. She has been pretty much dominant since she's returned. I think with only 3 losses since she's come back. A loss to Becky Lynch, ridiculous loss to Liv Morgan, and a loss to Rhea Ripley. Um, so I think that's been you know, but she's been dominant and she's been safe. They let the promo last week where they were they were talking about having her be called reckless and all the other things, and clumsy by Bayley, and that was very interesting. I think they set that up for a reason. I think they set that up to a reason to show that she can go out there, have a great match, not with Bayley, and not injure her. And I think that was, I think that's very interesting. Now, as for Bayley, she won at WrestleMania, and Triple H does like these long runs, and for Bayley to have a long run with WWE Women's Championship, I think makes the time. And also when you have what's her face as the Money in the Bank winner, Tiffany Stratton, you would want Tiffany Stratton, who would be a heel, to to cash in on a babyface and not cash in on another heel unless you're going to turn Tiffany Stratton babyface. And that could very well happen. She has definitely been getting, ever since she came up, she's been getting a lot more cheers and boos. I think that's maybe one of the reasons why they put her with Nia Jax. They have her be with Nia Jax so that she can get more heat instead of getting more cheers. But the fans like her. The fans like her character. The fans like her wrestling. Her work in the ring. So I think there is a shot there to where they could have her turn babyface on Nia at some point that she's the champion. But I do think that if you're gonna do it, I think it probably is her character fit to be a babyface. I think her character has to change to be a face. I don't think this is one of those things where she can be the Valley Girl, stuck up chick and be a babyface. So there's a lot of pros and cons for both Bayley and Nia to win. I just feel that even though the Queen of the Ring could be Nia's reward for the work that she's put into her comeback, I think the major reward is for her to have that championship and for her to be the champion. And again, I also think that her being champion going into WrestleMania and having Tiffany Stratton or even having Jade Cargill be the one that stops her reign of terror, at least in the kayfabe wise, not in real life. It's something that is intriguing as well. Um, so personally, uh, I would like to see Nia win. I think that would be good for her. And then one of those things again with the head and the heart, but the heart has logic to it. And see, I think that's the way to go. And I don't think you have to end the feud with Bayley. There's Bash at Berlin later on this month, and they could end up going to Bad Blood with Bayley. I don't think there's anything happening in September, so you can't go to Bad Blood in October with Bayley and Nia, the third match, being some type of insane match between the two women. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna pick Nia Jax to win the WWE Women's Championship. I have predicted three title changes, excuse me, so far. Will there be a fourth? I think there will, but not in this next match. For the World Women's Championship, champion Liv Morgan takes on Rhea Ripley. I think this is a match that Liv Morgan will win. I'm predicting her to win. But that's not the big picture. The big thing is the story. What is the story going to happen? How will Liv Morgan beat Rhea Ripley? And there's a part of me that has come to the conclusion of a double swerve. Now, hear me out. This is what I'm talking about, right? Let's go back to WrestleMania. Was it WrestleMania 14? 14? Was it WrestleMania 14 or WrestleMania 15? One of those two. You guys might remember. China turned on Generation X and went to the corporation, right? She went to the corporation. This was after Kane had kind of accidentally burned her or anything like that. So I think the match was Triple H versus Kane, and she turned on Kane and went back with Triple H, and he was thinking that this was going back to D-Generation X. But then later on in the night, in the match between X-Pac and Shane McMahon, Triple H China came down and turned on X-Pac, more or less turning on D-Generation X and joining the corporation. A double swerve. And I think there's a good chance we could get that here. In here. I think, as we saw last week on Monday Night Raw, Dominic Mysterio just eviscerate Liv Morgan verbally. Just absolutely eviscerated her. This past Monday, we saw Liv Morgan being the woman scorned. I think what we could see here is we could see Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. At some point in the match, Dominic Mysterio will be looking to do something to Liv Morgan, but instead will do it to Rhea Ripley, and that will cause Liv Morgan to beat Rhea Ripley and retain the championship, and we will see Dominic Mysterio walk out with Liv Morgan. Now, where does the double swerve come in? Well, it either comes in later that night during the Priest and Gunther match, or it comes a couple nights later on Monday Night Raw. So during the Priest and Gunther match, what could happen is you could get Finn another match where Gunther and what's his face, the Priest are fighting. We get a rare bump, and we get the Judgment Day come down. But instead of you know, but instead of there being a help, a help with Damien, they turn on Damien. Things like that. Finn in particular. And then I think what we could see then is we could see Liv, and here's where the double swerve comes in. Liv, you know, they could live in the other Judgment Day members. They could be out there, and they could be John. And Liv goes to bring in for a kiss, and then she says something, but Dominic makes a strange look, and then Dominic gets excommunicated from the Judgment Day as well. I also think it could happen the next night on Raw, where we could see Liv and Dom in the ring, and Dom is the thing he's talking about, it all being the rules against Rhea, and Liv was so right. I'm not. I should be nobody should be my mommy. I should be everybody's poppy, and all those things. And then Liv could say, "Well, Daddy Dom, you are not. Yeah, you should be somebody's poppy, but not mine." And Dominic could have that look. What are you talking about? And then again, the Judgment Day could come down and jump on him, because don't forget, we've seen Liv talk to JD. We've seen Liv talk to Finn Balor. They were in that car months ago. You remember? And he saw them getting out of the same car. And don't forget the whole thing with the hotel key. Finn took the hotel key. So I think at some point we're going to see Finn Balor and JD, and possibly even Carlito with Liv Morgan. The only question is that will Dom be with them, or would Dom not be with them? And like I said, I'm rooting for the double turn here, because she said she wanted to take everything for Rhea. So yeah, she would have taken Dom, Rhea's man, but she doesn't necessarily want to keep Dom. She just wanted to take him away. And by having Dom turn on her, she said that she could have taken him away from her, but she can still throw him away. And then she takes away the Judgment Day, Finn and JD and everything like that. So there's a lot of things going on here. We have to wait and see. I can't wait to see how this plays out. But prediction for the match, I think this is another easy one. This is Liv Morgan retaining and keeping the Women's World Championship. So speaking of the Judgment Day, Damian Priest of the Judgment Day is the World Heavyweight Champion and defends it against Gunther, who won the King of the Ring, and particularly a title shot at SummerSlam. Now they've kind of made this go into a class, basically turning Damian Priest babyface in the part. Which, by the way, if this video at any point was choppy, if it's choppy now or choppy at any point, I don't know. I apologize. I don't know why there would be a lag to it, or why it would be choppy. I don't know, but I do apologize for that, because as I looking at myself, I can see that it is a little bit choppy, a little bit laggy. So I apologize. Anyway, back to the topic. They've kind of made this like a class thing, that Gunther has been, has been given a silver spoon right in his mouth, and he's been given everything when it comes to professional wrestling. Where Damian Priest had to scratch and claw and fight for everything. He had to fight his way into Ring of Honor, fight his way into NXT, he had to fight his way into WWE, and fight his way into the Judgment Day. And still now he has to fight, as people are not giving him enough credit that he deserves as being the world heavyweight champion. And the last week they brawled and brought out the building, too much so that um, Adam Pearce had to ban them from the building. And then there was this past Monday there was a brawl and made everything um, it had a brawl off thing where Jimmy Priest looked on top. Now, one thing about Triple H's era is that he has gone back to some of the things that he has done and redone them to a point. And this kind of feels like the storyline almost of Booker T and Triple H back in WrestleMania 19, where you had the Triple H was the nosy, stopped up, stuck up, snobby, um, maybe even you would say maybe racist, view people, thing type of thing to Booker T. Where it's kind of, where there was that, so they could be doing that here. And obviously, one of the question marks of that feud with Triple H and Booker T is that Triple H won the feud. So, so if he was going for that, other part, then basically racism won, basically. So we kind of do that here. Now there has been racist overtones. He did call him street trash and everything like that. And he might have said "you people," or he said something that could have been veiled looked at as maybe like some type of racist. It was definitely classist, where he's looking down upon, he's the upper class looking down upon the middle or low class. So there's definitely something like that. But so there's some look at that, and we could see that here, and this is what this could be about. But I really think, for the most part, what they've been trying to do is they've been trying to get Damian Priest. And we've been trying to get him up for, I think, two reasons. One, either to make it look like that Damian Priest was the type of champion, so that when Gunther beats him, then he has beat somebody who mattered. He has beat somebody that the fans look upon and say, you just say, well, he beat Damian Priest for the championship. No, you can say, wow, he beat the World Heavyweight Champion. And I think that's what they've been trying to do with Damian Priest, even going to the fact that where like all of his matches, other than the Jey Uso one, all of his matches, he kind of said he told the Judgment Day to stay out. He told the Judgment Day to stay out of this match as well. So they've been trying to do that. And the number two reason is that what they're doing is that they're going to have Damian Priest beat Gunther. And there's going to be a reason why he beat Gunther, is because Gunther took it too far, calling him street trash and not respecting where he's come up and things like that. So I really think that is that's something to think about, and to the point to where my head says Gunther. It does. My head says Gunther. But there's a part of me, there's a big part of me that says that, this should be, the Damian Priest should win here. Because you want to, make Damian Priest look like a legitimate world champion. Why not have him beat the unbeatable, who in WWE has only lost 3 times. Only lost 3 times. Once to Ilya Dragunov off NXT, once to Braun Breaker in NXT, and lost to Sami Zayn at this year's WrestleMania. So the 4th time he loses to the World Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest. Sure, Gunther at some point should be World Champion, should be WWE Champion, and should have a pretty nice reign with it. Pretty nice reign. Maybe not as long as the Intercontinental Championship reign he has had, but a reign that long enough that is worthy enough of who and what Gunther is. Right? I would agree. Do you want that to start now? Because like I've been saying, there are many people on this show that, Seth Rollins is still there. CM Punk is now cleared. Drew McIntyre might deserve a run. Jay Uso definitely deserves a run, along with Gunther. So there are many people that you could see being champions. So do you really have to put the title on Gunther right now? And this is one of the main ones here. This is one of the main ones that I talked about at the beginning, where my head says Gunther. It's just logical, right? That's what it looks like to be. But my heart is saying Damian Priest with some logic behind it. It's not Gunther's time just yet. There's many more other things. Do you really want to put the title on Gunther? And now it wouldn't be like the Roman Reigns where you just you wouldn't have any you wouldn't have any type of thing because you could maybe see that lose and this is why I also think this would be a good time for Damian Priest to beat Gunther, because when Gunther does get the championship, he can be a part of it. There is also Bash in Berlin. Now, even though Gunther isn't German, he made his name in that area. So when we get to go back to Germany as the champion and wrestle somebody, rematch against Damian Priest, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Ilya Dragunov, even maybe. Wouldn't that be great to do? Yes, it would be. But so I don't know. I really don't. I can see it any other way. This is a 50-50 for me. And the last time I said this was a 50-50, thing for me, it was WrestleMania 39, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. And I told everybody that who was saying Cody's got to win. No, this is a 50-50 thing. They could easily keep the title on Roman. And they did, and as they should have, because it was the right moment. It made WrestleMania 40 even better. Again, it's what I said about Infinity War. The fact that Thanos got all 6 Infinity Stones and did what he said he's gonna do, take away all life on Earth, life in the universe, half of life, I should say. That made Infinity War even better than it already was. And that's why it's the best movie of all time. So, yeah, I've talked myself into it. Damian Priest. I'm going to go ahead and pick Damian Priest. Who cares about my record? Who cares about, anything like that? Damian Priest is retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. Oh boy, this one is going to be very interesting. So with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee, Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. This has been an incredible build. A build that probably should not have happened, but because Punk got injured, the build to this match has been long, but not arduous. It has been incredible. Like I talked about, the only maybe misstep is and you can argue either way, is to have Drew would have been for, instead of having Drew McIntyre win Money in the Bank and have CM Punk cost him when he cashed in, it would have been to have him to cost him the Money in the Bank briefcase period and give it to Jey Uso to have Jey Uso hold it. But that's neither here nor there. What's done is done. Seth Rollins said this past Monday that countouts, he could count to 10, he could count to 20, he could count to 100. Disqualifications, while they are applicable, it's going to be referee's discretion. Which I think this is something that it is. Yeah, this is a match that needs a winner. There should not be a count out. There should not be disqualification, at least in this first bout. Someone needs to definitively win the match. Now the question is, who wins the match? Is it Drew McIntyre, who has been screwed over by CM Punk? Time after time after time. And so did Drew McIntyre finally get his revenge on CM Punk? But then there's CM Punk, who needs to get his revenge on McIntyre for injuring him, gloating about it, and then taking his family away from him in that bracelet. It is very funny too that he talks about that bracelet. The bracelet would hit the name of his wife and the name of his dog. Sometimes you roll your eyes and it's just a damn dog, but the dog means a lot to him. He doesn't have kids yet. I don't know if they want kids or not, but if they do want kids, they don't have kids yet. So once they have kids, hopefully it's a lot more. He still loves his dog, but realize now, damn, it's not important in the kid. But that's neither here nor there. So I think so you can go both ways, but I kind of and also the way they do it is that Drew McIntyre could win, but because CM Punk is so petty and CM Punk is so gung ho that it doesn't mean that it's over. Because in one way you could see that if Drew McIntyre were to beat CM Punk, it would be over. In his eyes, it would be over. And even though that's kind of like a babyface thing, as we saw with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, when Cody Rhodes came back, Cody Rhodes won. He won again. It was over. But Seth Rollins, as the heel who should do, brought Cody Rhodes into a third and final match. And even though it is like a babyface trope, that necessarily doesn't happen, especially with CM Punk and his character. He has stated that he is going to do everything he can to make Drew McIntyre's life a living hell. So if Drew McIntyre were to win, wouldn't CM Punk need to do this, right? When he need to get his revenge back. I could see that, especially if Seth Rollins somehow comes into play here. And I think he will. In some form or fashion, he will. Because I do think what they could be doing here, they could be doing a 3-person program here, right? They could have something where Drew McIntyre beats CM Punk. Seth Rollins beat Drew McIntyre. CM Punk beats Seth Rollins. And that goes into WrestleMania where it's a triple threat match. Which I would be okay with. Especially, I would be okay with if one of them was the World Championship. And that's your main event of night 1. I like that. I really do. Another reason not to give Gunther the goddamn championship. Gunther can win it after that triple threat match. But this is also a feud that doesn't need the championship. They all three just absolutely can't stand each other. I'm gonna go with CM Punk. And I think what will happen is that Seth Rollins, if he won't, he won't do something, official or anything like that. Something, well, some people talking about like the Shawn Michaels thing from SummerSlam '97, where Shawn Michaels swung a chair at Bret Hart. He hit Undertaker, and Bret Hart pinned the Undertaker, and Shawn, the referee, had to count, and he counted 3. I don't think it's gonna be something like that where it's seemingly an accident or is on purpose or something like that. I think it could be something like Seth Rollins gets flustered or something like that, or he gets involved, and this isn't going to be so. He can even get bumped, but obviously since he's a wrestler, he's not going to get the bump. It's going to be something where maybe he gets bumped, get poked in the eye, maybe something like that. Drew hits a claymore on CM Punk while he's doing the eye. And he realizes that he's got Drew has the cover, and he goes 1-2, Punk kicks out at 2.5. We come back later. CM Punk hits the GTS, and 1-2-3, and Punk wins, and then Drew McIntyre is mad at Seth Rollins. It can be something as simple as that. It doesn't necessarily have to be something outrageous or egregious. It can be something as simple as that, and that's something that this new era is kind of known for. It's just the simple stuff. It doesn't have to be egregious. It's just the simple stuff. I have things flying all around on the screen and everything like that. So again, if you guys are seeing this, I apologize for the quality of the picture or anything like that. Hopefully you can still hear me. And when I do these type of things, that's really all you need to do is just to hear me. You don't necessarily need to watch me because I'm not putting up graphics, or I'm not putting in clips or anything like that for the most part for this. So you can just do it. This once again, it is apology. So I need to hurry up and finish again. One more match to go. So saying all of that, I am picking CM Punk to win this match against Drew McIntyre. And for the WWE Undisputed Championship, Cody Rhodes takes on Solo Sikoa. So, again, I don't think this one is as simple as it is. Now, I don't think it's 50-50. I think this is like maybe an 80-20, 80 going to Cody Rhodes, but I think the 20% tells a great story. If Solo Sikoa can beat Cody Rhodes and win the WWE Undisputed Championship, it cements himself as a major player. It cements himself as the true head of the table of the bloodline, as he's been saying. He's not the fake head of the table. He's the real head of the table. And it also could bring that when that Roman Reigns does come back, and I am not expecting him to come back tomorrow night. And in fact, I'm probably more expecting him. I would be more surprised. I'm not more surprised, but if I was expecting to return, I would expect him to actually return tonight more than return tomorrow night. But I think having Solo win the WWE Undisputed Championship, I think you do that to put that on Solo Sikoa, and then it also goes into that theme that when Roman Reigns comes out and confronts Solo Sikoa face to face, Solo Sikoa has every right. He's a WWE champion. He has his bloodline. Every right to tell Roman Reigns to his face, acknowledge me, and for it to be meaning something, for it to be real, and for it to actually have some bite to it. Now he can still do that, but I think we all look at that, and Roman Reigns wouldn't have a reason to do so. But there would be actually a reason for Roman Reigns to do so, to sell Solo Sikoa, and he cannot do that. One of the things I think would be good is that he wins the championship. Next Friday, he comes out. Roman comes out. He tells Roman to acknowledge him. Roman doesn't acknowledge him. He challenges him for a bash at Berlin, that tribal contact. You want to be head of the table? Bash at Berlin, tribal combat, head of the table. And Bloodline, so Solo says no and takes out Roman Reigns. And then what that leads to the rematch between Cody and Solo at Bash at Berlin, where Cody Rhodes can win it back, and we can get the Roman Reigns massive turn on Cody Rhodes and have him single-handedly take out each member of the bloodline, even that Samoan werewolf Solo Sikoa. So yeah, I think this is a true test. That can be something truly inspirational, things like that. I just don't know if they're going to go somewhere with that. If this is Vince, I would say Vince probably would have done that. Because he does not too much about he's not big on titles and title reigns. Again, the fact that he was okay, I think the fact that because Roman is his guy, and he wanted to prove that he was right about Roman. So I think the fact that he allowed Roman Reigns to have that title for so long, and I have always said I believe that Vince's plan was to have Roman Reigns go 1,000 days as champion, and then sometime after that, they would go ahead and they would go ahead and beat him, have somebody beat him when it was the right guy. And I think Triple H, when he took over, he kept that going for Vince, as his thing with Vince to say, thanks for buying out. And Vince said, could you at least do me one thing? Could you at least keep my plan for Roman when he going 1,000 days? A thing, and he did, and he helped make it even better afterwards. So I think I've always thought about that. So I don't think he would maybe do the title change at SummerSlam and then go and then have it redone at Bash at Brand, especially if the rumors are true and he wants the title changes to be at the big four pay-per-views because they mean something and they could be more exciting. So even though there would be a title change for Solo Sikoa, would he do it 3 weeks later, do it really quick at Bash at Berlin? Be the second time the WWE Championship changed hands somewhere other than the United States or North America. Would that happen? Yes, it could. This is one where my heart saying Solo Sikoa with a lot of logic in it. My head is going Cody Rhodes. And like I said, I think it's an 80-20 thing. This is not a 50-50 split. This is 80-20 going Cody Rhodes. So I am choosing Cody Rhodes, but I want everybody to remember the fact of what I said about Solo Sikoa winning that championship. Do not be surprised if Solo Sikoa is the WWE Undisputed Champion. We'll talk more about it if it does happen tomorrow night in the Rapid Reaction to SummerSlam. But my official prediction is Cody Rhodes retaining the Undisputed Championship. All right, so to recap, Braun Breaker becomes Intercontinental Championship, becomes Intercontinental Champion. LA Knight is your new United States champion. Liv Morgan retains the Women's World Champion. Nia Jax becomes the WWE Women's Champion. CM Punk defeats Drew McIntyre in the special guest rematch. Damian Priest beats Gunther, and the World Heavyweight Championship retains that, and Cody Rhodes retains the WWE Undisputed Championship. So there you have it. Those are my predictions. Please put your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about my predictions. I really would appreciate it. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, click the notification bell so that when I go live tomorrow night, for the reaction after SummerSlam, we can talk about what went down. It could be some major stuff. It could be just some cool stuff. It could be, but I think no matter what happens, it's going to be some good stuff, and that's the most important part about it. So yes, please click the notification bell as well. Once again, thank you guys again so much for watching. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always. Oh, and once again, thank you for dealing with any video issues that you may be seeing. Thank you very much again. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.